Climate change feels like a really overwhelming global issue, but we're actually going to address it through millions of local projects all around the world. Small and medium-sized businesses are going to implement many of these, and they need to be part of the solution because all of their small individual impacts actually add up to an overall substantial impact. We could be talking about a small fleet of delivery trucks, or maybe a landlord who owns a single small building. So I propose that Chicago should form a nonprofit green bank to help small and medium-sized businesses increase their access to climate project financing. I'd like to begin by describing green banks through an analogy. When a business wants to upgrade their physical assets, they likely need to go out and get financing to pay for the project up front. Especially for small and medium-sized businesses, an investor or a lender is essentially being asked to carry a bag of money on a tightrope across a canyon, a real risk. So think of the Green Bank as the organization that takes their own time and money to turn the tightrope into a bridge. A green bank then is just a common name for a mission-driven climate investment fund that uses its own seed capital to reduce risks for private investors, basically getting them off the sidelines. Now, we know that finding that seed funding certainly would be a political challenge, but how much do we already spend on flood prevention and flood damage, for example? Budgets reflect values, and we need to keep this in mind. And certainly, we've been moving in the right direction for a few years already. A variety of federal, state, and local programs already do exist to help incentivize or finance climate projects. And as mentioned, it may be possible that a commercial bank might fund a project, but as we've noted, they may not fund sufficient amounts, they may not fund on favorable terms, or they may not fund at all. But money is available. It's available for the right projects, and institutional investors are looking to align their portfolios with the Paris climate goals. The Chicago Green Bank can act as a single branded entry point for climate investors, helping them to find local investment opportunities and encouraging them to bring their money here. So why am I bringing this up now? The Daley administration developed Chicago's first climate action plan all the way back in 2008. But now the Lightfoot administration is looking to take this further. We've been part of the network of C40 climate cities for a few years now, sharing best practices and plans, and the city's currently modeling various decarbonization pathway scenarios. We're developing a net zero carbon building plan, and the revised climate action plan is under discussion. The bottom line is that our ambitions are increasing, and as a greater number of businesses attempt projects, at least some will be denied the necessary funding, and funding availability needs to match our ambitions. And this is why we need a climate bank right now. The Coalition for Green Capital, which helps to start green banks around the US, has worked with all 20 US green banks, including those listed below, and has observed that these organizations always help to eliminate at least one of four common climate finance barriers. So think of these as the tightropes and the bridges. So if our landlord, for example, wants to install an early stage technology like a hydrogen fueled water heater, the green bank may actually connect the landlord with a commercial bank and a technical expert to help lower the project's risk. If this landlord wants to go further and reduce their carbon footprint by over 50%, they may actually end up considering this to be marginally economic. It might take 10 to 15 years to pay this project back through the energy savings, but the green bank can step in and act as a co-investor to help improve financing terms. These are both interesting climate project ideas, but if the investor also believes that the landlord might be a credit risk, the green bank can potentially set up a loan loss reserve fund, basically acting like a co-signer on a loan. And finally, maybe this landlord can't manage to get the funding to install a single electric vehicle charging station at their building, but the green bank may do the legwork to go find 500 different buildings that all want to install EV charging and bundle them together and bring them to an institutional investor to obtain funding for their projects. This is a model that already works. For the past 10 years, Billions in green bank funding have led to billions more in private co-funding for projects that have reduced carbon footprint, improved air quality, and provided protection against harsher weather events. And we can do the same here. So the mayor's office should facilitate creation of a Chicago Green Bank to help small and medium-sized businesses increase their access to climate project financing. Thank you.